All right, so today we have a question. One of the students who've been here before doing a retreat. So I'm just going to read the letter first. Hello Tobi, I was at your meditation retreat back in April and have been working to keep a daily practice of mindfulness meditation alive. One of your posts recently really resonated with me on how I've been feeling. Specifically this line, the more we feel as an owner or a manager of the universe, the heavier it weighs on us. This is a path of release, of letting go. As I continue to meditate, more and more of me seems to not be able to handle the world. It's as if I'm acutely sensitive to the world and circumstances around me. I feel helpless and hopeless about the state of affairs of this world. There is this internal unrest that the things I'm doing in this physical world are not somehow aligning with my inner self. I can't recall the last time I felt joy. I have never been one wrought with bouts of depression, but I'm feeling depressed about life. It's as if now I am more aware of the heaviness of this world, my circumstances on me and on my soul. And when I intellectualize these feelings, I feel guilty to even think I should feel this negativity. Or anyone else in my shoes should be grateful. But telling myself I'm grateful isn't engendering the feeling of gratefulness. I have no idea how to release it. I feel this heaviness or unrest or acute feeling of misalignment has become even more acute since I've been meditating. Any guidance or thoughts to help me work through this? Is this normal? I thought meditation is supposed to help set me free, yet I feel more shackled than ever before. Okay. So this is the letter. So first of all, what comes to mind is, yes, it is absolutely normal when you are embarking on a spiritual path like this, where you become more aware of yourself, become more aware of the mind, you become more aware of what is going on in this moment. Then also we become more aware of negative emotions and feelings that we are usually suppressing, that we are usually kind of, you can say, distracting ourselves away from. So most of the things that we're doing in our day-to-day living is a means of kind of getting out of this moment, to escaping the way things are. So we are continuously looking for a way out of presence. So we need to do things. It's all about doing. We need to do a lot of things. So this lifelong habit of doing a lot of things leaves its traces also. It forms a character, it forms an identity, a personality. And that personality has kind of been busy its whole life recording circumstances, responding to circumstances, and deepening also habits that it has. So now we have this personality that for many, many people is based on a sense of actually not liking themselves, not liking this moment, not liking a sense of presence, and trying to get out of this by doing as much as possible, so hopefully later we can enjoy ourselves. So our whole entire life is based on this kind of idea of chasing something better that is supposed to happen later. If we just do it all correctly right now, and the next few weeks and the next few months and years, then life will be worth living. Then I will be fulfilled. Then I will feel a sense of joy, accomplishment, freedom and security and whatnot. That's the idea, right? So we're basically aiming to find ourselves in the future. to find a more complete sense of life, of being here, however you want to call it, even enlightenment or whatever not, what the names are for that. For a sense of completion, happiness, fulfillment, and joy seems to be always something that's some sort away from us. It's not here, it's not now. And so we start by opening up slowly and in a very gentle way to what is. We feel the body in our meditation practice, we relax. We feel what is going on in this present moment. We notice that there are sounds, there are feelings, and then we usually encounter then deeper layers of experience that have been kind of hidden away for quite a while. So I would say it like this: if you're meditating properly, the very first thing that you will encounter clearly is suffering, stress. And this is true for absolutely everybody who lives in this world. If you just sit long enough, quiet, not having anything to do, not having any escape, then what happens? Well, there is stress. There's a sense of unease, isn't there? It makes us move our body, look for a place to go, like how much longer am I supposed to sit here? It's hurting, it feels unpleasant, my mind is crazy, I can't focus. Stress, right? So this is a discovery that is valid for every living being. If you really look at the basic sense of existing right now, then you will encounter stress. This stress is basically just a form of resistance to what is. Pretty simple. We are resisting what is. That is what suffering actually is, stress. That form of resisting what is, it manifests in two different ways. One means I would like to fill in the blank. And the other one is I don't want fill in the blank. That's how this sense of resisting arises. We are at war with presence. Because we're basically living our life from our heads, to use a Western lingo. We're up in our heads. We're not living our lives from our heart. We're not at one with life. We are here very often, that's what I wrote, we are here feeling as a manager. I'm here and my agenda is, and I still need to, and I would like that, and I shouldn't have, like that. There's a whole lot of stress. It's very burdensome also to live like this. So it is necessary, I think, for many, many people to honestly encounter that. To, first of all, to notice with a calm and quiet attitude, there is stress. There is suffering. But that should not be it. We're not just sitting down here and recognizing, oh, this is suffering. There should be more to it. Realizing that there is suffering, what would be the first thing that we ask? Well, I'm suffering. Well, how do I get out of it, right? And if I want to know how to get out of it, then my first question is, where does the suffering come from? Maybe ask the question a little bit differently. How am I creating it? How am I creating suffering right now? To me, this is a very good question to ask in your meditation practice. How am I creating stress right now? And then instead of trying to find some intellectual type of answer, observe the process of creating stress as it happens inside of your mind, clearly visible to you. You see, here I am, I'm just sitting, I'm just breathing, everything is fine. But now all of a sudden a thought arises, and it's a very humble little small thought. It just goes like, maybe like, an image of how bad the world is, how animals are abused, or how there are so many wars and how things are so unjust. And that thought just suddenly pops up. Maybe you hear a bird outside and you think of nature. And you think nature and you think about the elephant camp that you saw on the way to the meditation class. And you think, poor elephants. Followed by a sense of feeling bad. Now, if you have right mindfulness, you see this very clearly. How from a state of relaxation, stress is created. And this is crucial if you do meditation practice the right way. You want to have a real look, particularly if life is in your face, if life is not easy, if there are problems, if there is sadness, guilt, shame, a sense of dread about what might happen in the future. We all have that. The sense of, oh my God, will I make it? Will I get sick? Will my insurance pay for it? Should I move here or should I move there? And if these thoughts are arising, there are also feelings arising corresponding to those thoughts. Thoughts continuously come together in unison with feeling states. I would call that an emotional complex. You have a thought bundled together with some feeling complex. It comes up into your sense of experience right now. There is this experience of dread, which is carried and fired up by thoughts, by thinking about what might happen, or what did happen. Now we have to look at this very carefully. Looking at it with the wish to understand it. How am I making myself miserable? How do I do it? Because most of us, we are not actually in a miserable state at all. Everything actually is fine. Until you start thinking. You start thinking of what just happened or what might happen. You're not fine anymore. You start thinking about the weight of the world. Yes, it's so true what Tobi said. There's so much weight. The world is so heavy, it's such a burden. It's so true. And you feel burdened and you feel heavy like this. For a minute, imagine, what if there were no thoughts? No thinking. Would you still be here? If there wasn't a voice in your head telling you stuff, would you still be here? Just ask yourself. Would I still be here even if the mind is quiet? Well, of course, we would still be here. Even if the mind doesn't tell you what might happen or what did happen. Or if it doesn't tell you how nice the world is or how bad the world is, you would still be here. The mind gives you continuously, it tells you stuff, right? It's just we forget our position. We could be here as someone that listens. But we forget ourselves. Like we forget ourselves when we watch a movie. You see this movie, it's like some thriller, and then the hero makes a mistake. He separates from the group. And you sit in front of the TV and you go like, you're so stupid. You should have gone the other way. Why do you separate from the group? Everyone knows this is how you die, right? If you separate from the others, don't separate. So stupid. How can he be so stupid? I can't believe it. Turn off the movie. I can't watch that stuff any longer. We totally forget that it's just a movie. Isn't it? It's just a movie. There are actors who are trained to make you believe in what they do. That's their job. There are special effects teams who create special effects to make it believable. And your mind is just like a movie. Just the same thing. It shows you images of how bad the world is, and they are very trained actors. They're giving you special thoughts, Look at how bad the world is. It's such a negative place. I can't believe it. And see over there, this guy is also not smiling. Just like myself, I'm also not smiling. Now, what if this movie was not there? What would be there then? What if the movie in your head is turned off for once? No more movie in your head. Then what is here? What is there? Movie doesn't tell you where you might be ending up, how life is unfolding and how it should unfold and how it should be, how it was. All that is gone. Now what is left then? What is still here? It's really just, you can say, just a few things. There are sounds. There are sights. You see things. Your eyes are working. There are smells. There is taste, maybe. And there is feeling in the body also. Sense of having a body, being here in this body. That is all there, isn't it? It's there for all of us. But just no more story about it. No more good sounds or bad sounds, just sounds. No more, even you can apply that to thinking itself. No more good thoughts or bad thoughts, just thinking. Just thinking, just a movie. As soon as you notice that, you can step back and you relax. And this abiding in presence, or you could even say as presence, we begin to relax and trust this sense of presence more than the story about life. We begin to trust awareness or presence or knowing much more. Now this then becomes your refuge. You really take refuge in what we call, as a Buddhist, you would call it taking refuge in the Buddha. The Buddha, if you translate, is the awakened one. And that's exactly that state. Being awake to the way things are. That can only happen in presence. So what is our gateway to presence? It is mindfulness, to have right mindfulness. That will lead to a natural sense of joy and aliveness. Wrong mindfulness, on the other hand, will lead to such things as depression and so forth. Here, the mindfulness is busy with a certain type of thinking. As the student expresses in her letter here, that is a chain of thought. I can't recall the last time I felt joy. That is a thought. And if we are not watchful and aware, then we might feel as if we were the one who thinks the thought and not the one who sees it. So we have to learn to step back again and again, that no, I'm not the one who is thinking this. I am the one who is here to see that there is a thought. Oh, thinking again, like this. I would tell you, honestly, forget all mantras. Just keep reminding yourself of this one thing. Thinking again. It's a very nice mantra. Oh, thinking. It's an expression of mindfulness, of presence. Like you would recognize in a movie theater, just a movie. And all problems are solved. You can relax your shoulders, you can relax your hands, you can stop holding onto your popcorn just ever so tightly, You can just release a little bit and relax. Just a movie. I'm in the cinema, all right, okay, everything's fine. But if you forget that you're in a cinema, you are lost in the movie. The movie has all the control over you. It will make you tense, it will make you cry, it will make you forget yourself. It will make you lose your center. So that's why the Buddha calls these things also, he calls it bait. This bait, the world is like a bait. Thought is like bait. Like, for example, here. I have never been one wrought with bouts of depression, but I'm feeling depressed about life. Now, if you take that thought seriously and you start identifying with that thought, it becomes a real threat. It becomes an attacker on you. It is not allowed anymore to just pass through the space of your awareness. It is stopped right there, and we identify with it. Yes, I am depressed. Rather than noticing, something in the mind says that I feel depressed. There is a thought saying that I am depressed recently. I'm so depressed. And then, of course, it keeps this alive. It keeps this very much so alive, and it creates depression also. I'm not saying depression is not real. Depression can be very real. A movie can have a very real power over you. It can make you jump in your seat, even though nothing is happening to you. Doesn't it? It can make you really scared. Movies can make you scared. They can make you cry with sadness. The mind is much more powerful than a movie ever would be. It's the ultimate movie. And we have to gently, slowly learn to look through this. So we start easy. Remember, once a day, remember that, there is thinking. The mind thinks. That's what the mind does. It thinks. And then step back a little bit. Become aware. Do you hear any sound right now? Can you hear sounds around you? Can you hear the birds or the fan, the water outside? Stay with that. Can you feel your body? Stay with this. Stay put in presence. Be quiet. Be right here. Stay here. And then the mind will pull you back. Yeah, that sounds nice, but how am I going to do this at work? I can't do this because there's the movie again. There it is again. Oh, I'm very confused now. Am I supposed to focus on sounds or am I supposed to focus on the body? Should I first focus on the body and then on sounds? Hup, there it is. Thinking. Do you notice? There it is again. Thinking. Suggesting you that you should be somewhere else. That you should be someone else. And that the world there should be different also. Thinking again. The power of thought is immense. The mind is the creator of the entire universe. And if it stops, and then starts again, you see how suffering arises. Very clear. There's no more fooling you. The mind cannot fool you anymore. It doesn't have any power over you anymore. You have seen your true position. You're not here as the mind, as the conditioned mind. You are here as awareness. You are here as presence. You are here as the knower, Buddho. That which is awake. You're not here anymore as the doer that has a sense of incompleteness all the time. Oh, it's incomplete, I need to do more, and then I need to say, I wonder if I'm doing it right. Am I doing it right? I have to ask my teacher. Am I doing it right? It's not about doing at all. For once. It's not about doing anything. It's not about becoming either. You're not supposed to become anything. In fact, realize it. You are here right now. Are you not? Are you not here? Can you ever deny that, really? Let's not get too philosophical about who is it that is here and is there a self that is here and so forth. Let's drop that too. It's thinking too. But there is a sense of being present, no? As being just awake here. Trust that. Having faith in that. This will lead you on the right path. And then more and more you will see for yourself that really all the trouble is thought. Thinking. Therefore the mantra again, thinking. Thinking, and the story again about my life and who I should be and how the world should be. Thinking. Thinking, and it's just thinking. Relax, it's just thinking. Thinking just goes the way it goes. And notice, how does it make you feel when you're thinking certain thoughts? It's always followed also by feelings. When a certain thought complex arises, then feelings come along with it. For example, a sense of dread when you contemplate what might happen to you in the future. And the mind is very cunning and it will try to catch you. In my own practice, it happens all the time like this. Right now, at this very time, the mind is trying to catch me with fear. Very strongly so. By suggesting that I might get very sick. Or I might have trouble with this or that, in the future. Yeah. And it can be very detailed about it. The movie is very tempting to believe in. And it goes into totally absurd things also. Like what will I do when war suddenly breaks out? So the mind comes up with these kind of questions. I'm just sitting there relaxing, enjoying the breeze, the wind, just being here, And suddenly the mind is like, you might not be able to relax like this if there is a war. What would you do? I mean, seriously, what would you do when suddenly soldiers would come and shoot everyone down around you? How would you be relaxed then? And if someone would attempt to kill you right now, would you be relaxed? Speaking of killing, what would you do if there were burglars coming into your house this night? Like this. The mind is like this. It tries to catch you, with things that are important for you. If there is something important, you are in trouble. If anything is important for you, this is how it can catch you. The mind is like mafia, It looks at your hand. It looks at your hand for a ring. Ah, you have a ring. We've seen your wife yesterday in the supermarket. You're vulnerable already. So take off your ring before you go into meditation. What does it mean, taking off the ring? It means taking off all desires and wishes to accomplish anything. Just be here. Just look at the way it is. And learn from that process. Looking at yourself, looking at your mind. And also that process must be carried by a strong sense of community that you have with a group of people who practice together, who come and meet regularly. Also very good to ask questions like this, that's the way you receive an answer, and hopefully it is also helpful and inspiring for you on the path to move on because all the problems that she has been writing in this letter, they are thought-based. It's as if I'm acutely sensitive to the world and circumstances around me. It's the way you look at the world and circumstances. This is the trouble. Who is looking? What kind of attitude is looking at the world? Catch that one. Because all too often we are lost in our own attitudes. We don't see the attitude at play. But instead we are the one who looks at the world through a certain veil. Like, the world is a bad place. This is a very specific attitude looking at the world. I can't be grateful is another belief, a thought. So constantly come back. Let presence become your refuge. You come into this moment, you gently let go of thinking. Listen to the sounds, feel the body, stick to that. Become quiet inside. Then, from this point, you can evaluate the situation much more clear. So there has to be good meditation practice, right mindfulness. Remember the second or the third step in our meditation practice. It means the first one is relaxing through the body. The second one is arriving in presence, just opening up to sounds and feelings. The third step is arriving in silent present awareness. Noticing sound and feelings without any commentary. That's the spot. Just being here and opening up. And do this again and again throughout your entire day. Open up. You're here. Feel. Listen. It takes a good amount of work and very strong willingness also to relax. You have to be willing to let go into ease and happiness, and to let go of the heavy burden of thinking and mind-made obstacles and problems. The entire world is mind-made trouble. Borders, nuclear weapons, it is done and made by the mind. The body doesn't have such ideas. The mind has these ideas. We need nuclear weapons to feel safe. It's totally absurd. But that's the way the mind makes the world go round. So let go of this mind, not of the idea. Can say, no need to let go. Or just let go of everything. Let go of everything. Just be here. Like that. Let go of all this mind-made stuff. And am I doing it right? Just be here, open up to the presence again and again. This is how you will start to truly relax. Don't even look for joy. Don't even look for happiness. You're here, period. Then, slowly, life will start to nourish you. And with that nourishing, happiness arises. Natural sense of joy. It's funny, you start to be really happy and joyful, every cell in your body alive, when you are here. You're not fighting it anymore. Okay, so I think this is maybe enough for today. I hope it was in a way helpful. Yes.